This video I will teach you how I made this game in Unreal Engine 5 using AI in less than a day. I will show you how you can do everything using AI. That includes coming up with your character designs, coming up with background art, adding different effects like Blizzard in the game, importing your characters in the game, and so on. Every step is totally free, of course, and you don't need to create a paid account or you don't need credits on any website to use this. All the tools are free to use and you can design as many characters as you want to use in your game. You also don't need to learn rigging or animating your characters. We're just gonna use free tools for character animations as well. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, and let's start this. To start off, these are the basic steps you need to make a game. You need some characters for your game, you need an environment to place that characters in, and then you need some sort of gameplay loop or an objective, which in my case is hiking to the top of the mountain. The first step is to go to this website to create a character for your game. You can write a prompt here and make sure to explain your character in as much detail as possible. After generation, you can check for any flaws in your character and you can simply edit this character by editing the prompt. The most important step is to generate the full body of the character in A pose or a T pose and make sure the joints of the character are visible. I'm gonna tell you why that's really important later on in the video. And another option to generate your character is this Comfy UI basic flux workflow. You can use this workflow if you have good compute available, and the results here are more crisp and far better compared to the online website. This workflow is obviously free and it can be found on my GitHub as well. Once you have finalized your character, you need to download an image of your character. Then you need to come to this website, simply upload your image over here and click on generate. This will turn your character image into a 3D model. There are several settings for you to adjust here as well. If you like the final result, you can click on extract GLB from here, and once that file is created, you can pan around your model and see your character in more detail. If you like the model overall, you can download it from here. Next up, we need to import this character in Blender. Once your character is in Blender, you can press S to rescale the character and G to move the character in 3D space. We're gonna place our character on the Z plane, so you can just click on G and move the character so it's positioned correctly on the Z plane. After that, you need to click on Object and click on Shade Smooth button. This will smoothen up the AI generated model. After that, go to Edit Mode, click A to select the whole model, then press M and select Merge by Distance. This is an optional step, but it will improve the model quality a lot. You can also paint on the character by going to the Texture Paint mode. So you have a lot of flexibility to edit your character here, but for any color editing you do here, you will need to export these textures later on. Otherwise, the 3D model generated online has textures built in by default, so I really don't recommend this step. Once you're done editing your character, make sure to export it in FBX mode. This is very important for the next step. After that, we need our mountain for the character to walk on. Now we can generate this by using the same method. So here you can see I'm generating a mountain, and then we can extract the 3D model of the mountain as well. But I'm gonna show you a better option. You can go to Sketchfab and find free to download 3D models. They have a huge library of free 3D models for anything you want. You can scroll through these options, see if there are any assets you like, and simply download them. The other free website is free3d.com, and this is the mountain I ended up liking for my game. I downloaded this. Once downloaded, you can import that model in Blender and see how it looks, and if you want to change or edit anything. I also want to add a Tori gate to the entrance of my mountain because I think they are really cool. For Tori gate model, I ended up downloading this model from the website. After that, we're gonna launch Unreal Engine and we're gonna create a new third person game template, and I'm gonna name it Hiking. Once it's built, you can click play button over here and you can walk around in the environment. You can exit this by pressing on escape button. You can click on walls and different assets you don't need in the game, and you can press delete to delete them. After that, we're gonna bring our mountain into Unreal Engine. Because I had no experience in Unreal Engine before, I'm gonna use ChatGPT to guide me through the process. It's a really simple process to bring in assets. You just have to drag and drop your AI generated models into the content drawer. But because I really wanted to use the mountain I downloaded online, I was facing many troubles importing textures. When I imported that mountain in Unreal Engine, it lost all its textures and it just appeared blank white. I ended up asking ChatGPT a lot of questions, and honestly, if I just imported the AI generated mountain, I would have saved many hours. In the end, I ended up baking textures in Blender and exporting them manually, but seriously, you don't have to do this if you're using the AI generated models. Now, baking textures in 3D modeling is a bit difficult if you've never done this before, and I'm not gonna cover that in this video for obvious purposes. But if you want to change the textures or colors of your models, like for example in this case, I ended up recoloring my character later down in the video because his hands were really red. So I was not satisfied with the colors AI generated for the hands of my character, so I ended up changing them. So if you make any changes to the colors of the character after AI has generated them, you need to bake them. If you want to learn how to do this, I can make a separate tutorial on that. Just let me know in the comment section down below and I'll make an entire tutorial on how you can recolor the assets the AI has generated and bake the textures and move them to Unreal Engine. Once it was fixed, I just imported the mountain into my Unreal Engine scene. You can adjust the height, size and positioning of the mountain as you wish. I also imported the Tori gate and placed it on the mountain. Now you can press on play button and see the mountain, but you're not able to walk on the mountain yet. For this we need collisions. I asked ChatGPT on how to do it and it gave me a very detailed response on how I can do this. I followed these steps and got the collisions right in the very first attempt. After this, our character is now able to walk on the mountain. Now I wanted to edit the weather and I wanted this to be a blizzard environment. I asked ChatGPT on how I can do this and once again I got a very detailed response. I followed it and adjusted some settings according to my desire and now the game was in the blizzard environment. We ended up adding snow and increasing fog settings and making the overall environment more dark. After that we need to rig and animate our character so it can be used inside Unreal Engine. And according to GPT, the best way is to use Mixamo. This website is free and you can log in here with your Google account and then you can simply import your character here and rig and animate your character. Now remember I told you to export the models from Blender in FBX format. That is because this website uses that format. Also, I told you that the joints of the character must be visible and that is what Mixamo uses to rig and animate the characters. So this design I made earlier did not work because his joints are not visible, so make sure to keep that in mind. I made a new character using the same workflow, imported it into Mixamo, placed all the joints and just like that my character was animated. Once the character is animated, you can download it and you can simply drag and drop this into Unreal Engine content drawer and we have our character in Unreal Engine as well. Now we need to replace the default Unreal Engine character with our character and for this I got a lot of help from ChatGPT and Unreal Engine. Basically, we need to download a bunch of animations for our character and making a custom workflow for these animations. I had to watch a few tutorials for this because even with ChatGPT guidance, the animation workflow was new to me because I was using Unreal Engine for the first time really. And once that's set up, we can just replace the default Unreal Engine character with the one we have just imported and animated. And once that's done, our character is now able to walk around in the environment. Next up, I wanted to add an obstacle or a boss fight in the game, so I generated this image of a troll using the Flux workflow and I made a 3D model of the troll using this website. I cleaned up this model in Blender and after that once again I exported it into FBX format. Then I added some animations on this troll using Mixamo and I downloaded that. Another thing you need to keep in mind is when you will import the Mixamo characters into Unreal Engine, they will not have any textures on top of them. So you can see here the troll here is basically blank white. To add textures, you can simply import the original GLB file you downloaded from this website into Unreal Engine. Then you need to double click on the materials for your asset, and you need to delete these materials, and you can import the asset from that glb file over here. And you need to link this node over here, and then you need to add a constant by pressing 1 on your keyboard and clicking with your mouse, and then you can add this constant to these nodes over here, and after that textures will appear on your asset. After that, I place the troll on the mountain, and this is the game we have so far. The troll is there, but there are no boss fight mechanics yet. You can go hiking, you can explore the mountain, and even go to the top of the mountain. I hope this video was helpful, and let me know what you would like to add to this game next. Let me know what type of games you will be making using this workflow. I'm excited to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below.